What's good, everyone? It's Puns. Today I'm going to show you how to make a rod wave type beat. I'm going to play you the beat and then we'll break it down. Yeah, man, something really emotional. This melody just hit my soul. Now let's break this down. So the scale we're in is D major and the BPM is set to 170. The first sound I used is a piano and I used the Grandeur, which is a contact bank. I used the Ultra Bright Grand preset. I'm going to play the MIDI and then we'll break it down. So what I did here is I did a 4-6-1 chord progression. And what I did is I added a top line in between the first and second bars and leading towards the fifth into the sixth, and I left space everywhere else in between. This is to make the chord progression feel like it has movement, which is what you want to do for these melodies because you want to leave space for the artist as well. Now let's break down effects. For effects, I used a Valhalla vintage verb mixed to around 19. I used a fruity delay 2, time stretched to 2, feedback on ping pong, and the mix level around 8%, and then I EQ'd out some low end. The next thing I did was I added a pad. I used the cuddly pad, which is under soft pads and expand 2. I'll play you the MIDI and then we'll break it down. Yeah, so I copied the piano progression over and I used it in the pad, and I wanted to do this so I could layer the sounds to give it nice balance and variation in between in the melody. And what I did for the effects is I used a Valhalla vintage verb. These are my settings. The mix to around 45. I EQ'd a lot of high end and a lot of low end out because I wanted to get mid-range, which is what you want when you're layering the melodies like this, especially with piano melodies. The next thing I did is I added a bass guitar. I used the Funk Me Electric preset in Serum 2. This is what it sounds like. Yeah, so as you can see, I just copied over the chord progression and I used the bass notes. So what I did for effects is I EQ'd out a lot of high end, a little bit of low end, and my favorite to use on bass guitar is the UAD Avalon 737 channel strip. I used the bass guitar preset, but you can use the Moog bass punch as well. The next thing I did is I added a violin. I used the Noir violins from Omnisphere. Let me play it for you so you can hear what it sounds like. Yeah, so over here, I basically just found notes that sound really melodically good together, and just to complement the chord progression as well. So I just went down a semitone here, went back up, and I repeated it. And towards the end of the 7th and the 8th bars, I added different notes to add some variation. Now let's go over effects on the violin. I used a Valhalla vintage verb mixed to around 20. I used a fruity delay 3 and the mix to around 6. And then I just EQ'd some high end and low end. The last thing I did is I added a vocal from Splice, and I also added some guitar phrases and accents from the Nitro Audio's kits. Let me play this for you so you can hear what it sounds like in the melody.
can take that risk.
Yeah, so some beautiful guitar melodies. Again, go check out Nitro Audio. Shout out to Vabu, shout out to Wello. Alright, now I'm going to show you how I did the drums. I'm going to play the drum pattern and then we'll break it down. So here's the 808 pattern. I basically used the root notes of the chord progression, and I went with the classic Broadway bounce for this 808 pattern, but I left some space on the 3rd and the 7th bars, as you can see over here, and I just added an extra note in the 8th bar to give it some variation. For the clap, went with a basic clap pattern, as you can see here. For the hi-hats, I went with a 2-step hi-hat. I added some rolls in the 1st bar and the 4th bar, and I just copied everything over, as you can see over here. Just gives the beat a nice bounce. I layered the open hat with the 808, just to add extra texture. And for the perk, I have it playing towards the end of the 4th and the 8th bars, and I added some velocity changes. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more, because we're going to have videos coming out every single week. We're going to be doing tutorials for artists such as Rod Wave, NBA Youngboy, Lil Durk, and more. We're going to be doing live beat cookups, beat breakdowns, and sample making as well, so stay tuned.